Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this quad match of Dragon Warrior Randomizer.
Is that what we're playing tonight?
Something like that. We have with us four absolute veterans of the game, all of them having been in at least the previous two standard tournaments, if not the previous three. And so we have a lot of expertise going on here, and it's going to be quite the entertaining veteran battle. I am Tilo, and I am joined here in the booth by CyberDark86. How are you feeling about this one, CyberDark?
Well, I rolled it, so I'm not quite sure. How do you feel about the last one I rolled?
I have mixed emotions on that one.
I thought so. I'm not quite up to Math Girl standards yet, but yeah.
You definitely made a good effort today. I will say that.
Okay, our racers should begin in about 15 seconds or so. I hope. But yeah, these are some really good players. They've been around for a good while, and I'm really looking forward to see what happens here.
And now that we're off, let's see what we find in our first throne room chests. We have a torch. That's always a nice thing to start off with in an this early.
Yeah, we can use it as a weapon, definitely.
An herb less useful with a heal spell, but
we got one person cast outside.
yeah, if you have return, you can cast that to get out of the throne room and save your key. Outside will not do the same thing, but it is an easy mistake to make to see that and go, ooh, a spell to get out of here, and then be sadly disappointed because you just lost that MP.
What do you mean outside doesn't take you outside? It makes no sense.
I know, it's silly, isn't it?
You can't even take the stairs in this game. I don't understand it at all.
We have quadruple magician fights, all going to be ended by throwing a torch. Or started.
Well, good utility anyway, but now we can't see in the dark anymore.
Unfortunately for our runners, no extra strength gain from that.
Saying that 10 strength is a good start. It's not on the screen yet, but it will pop up after a while.
And we see our first nasty spell as the Scorpion has sleep and hurt. That's not really a horrible thing, hurt, but when you're trying to get off the ground, having one of your key XP monsters that can kill you in 3 shots is not ideal.
Not at all. Return, that's the one we were looking for on level 3.
Yeah, now just go back in the throne room, use that, and see what happens. JJ Schmidt has found the fighter's ring in what I believe to be grave here.
Yep, I believe the grave was just southwest of start, and you have to go through it to get to the other side of the continent. Ooh.
And we have our first sighting of everybody's favorite run stoppers.
As Schmike puts it, fighter's ring, curse belt, gold, and red dragons.
Yes, Aaron. Lawrence, or the Red Dragon, playing the role of Lawrence Taylor on JJ's side.
JJ, of course, using one of our custom sprites, as I would say most runners are. The football ones, though, actually change all the sprites in the game. The merchants, the old man, everything.
Yes, JJ is playing as Jerry Rice today, I believe. Which means I believe we'll have Bo Jackson running the stores. Meanwhile, we have VaeluV doing his classic Ragnar sprite, betastrep with his classic Toph sprite, and honestly, I don't remember offhand what Diabetes is using, so once we finally get through this Scorpion, I'll reference that.
Excellent, because you'll probably know before I do. And we'll have to wait a few seconds longer as DB2 hits level 4. 2 power, 1 speed, 2 hit points, 1 magic.
And it looked to me like he was the Prince of Maidenhall. Was the first thing I saw, but he was seen so briefly I can't be sure of that.
So all of our runners here are choosing to grind in the desert. They want something other than heal before they move on, it seems.
Yeah, that strength is kind of plateaued a little bit, given, starting with 10 and it's a few levels later only at 16. 29 hit points, 24 agility, just not a lot of survivability out there, and you've got some monsters that can, you can take care of pretty handily. The Armored Knight up here, not so much.
Baby Breath, not too bad for endgame, but right now it's not good. Betastrep gonna explore a little bit, maybe?
Just hoping for that. What I'd love to find right now would be like a Magidrakey, because without that, another chance for a high reward enemy without the sleep and hurt complications. So you maybe hope something's in a different area. We just got that level, and it is 14 power, 12 MP, and I missed the other two, I think 8 hit points and 6 agility. Something along that line. A very, very nice level found over on VaeluV's side, and one that may encourage him to start exploring.
Looks like he's gonna go through the grave. Scorpions to start, that's not so bad, but he hasn't seen the reds yet. Diabetes now getting up to level 5 as well.
Yeah, 14, 6, 8, 12. That is the kind of level you always love to see.
Too bad we won't be seeing a whole lot of those. Or one would assume, anyway.
Or at least we won't see ones that double your strength. Although, if, I wouldn't mind it if I were at 30 and got doubled to 60 suddenly, but don't imagine that's going to happen in this one.
No, not often.
Betastrep running into another Sherlock enemy in the grave in the form of the Golem, swinging for a very similar amount that the Red Dragon bit for.
According to DK, JJ has seen a town, but can't quite get to it yet.
I did miss that, but he has definitely been, has the exploration lead at this moment. Everybody else has kind of sat still in the grave and the desert around that while he has made his adventures out.
And it seems that the other side of the grave is just a small island with nothing in it, so our runners won't have to go in and then out and then in and then out to get around.
Yeah, that would be really annoying. I have had it where Hawksness was literally the tile beside the castle, and that was the only way you could exit, so you had to walk through Hawksness every time you wanted to leave. It was an interesting one.
At least you didn't have to use the stairs command. So JJ has found a way around, I think. But it has to go through Swamp and some Wraith Knights. Ooh, but a Metal Slime draws near.
Now this is one you wish you could have seen before you hit level 5 and your strength went over 20, because then it would have been pretty much a guaranteed kill. and would have rocketed you up a little higher. But at level 5, as we just saw, the metal slimes can run away because the strength is over 20, and therefore JJ just left with a bit of his soul taken with him.
And found Sherlock, and I think the way to the town... Oh, the red dragons have sleep.
Well, this is going to make this scene much more interesting with, anytime you have sleepy red dragons, that complicates matters and really keeps the race up into the air even going into Charlotte, because you can get slept and wrecked by a red dragon pretty much no matter what your HP is.
That would be me, DK.
Now, VaeluV gets the Sherlock kill from the grave in the form of the golem. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the red dragon bit for 55 on JJ, then the golem killed betastrep for 54, then the golem killed VaeluV for 53. So I imagine Diabetes is going to be having a 52 somewhere in his future.
More than likely. Beta's after getting the fighter's ring. Looks like he's in the top of grave.
We see a werewolf in grave too, so we continue to have this glut of Sherlock enemies.
So the golem, the red dragon, the werewolf, and the scorpion that I've seen. I don't know if it's just me and I'm used to chaos, but if I go into something like Hoxness now and see a red slime, I'm deathly afraid of what they have. I don't know if it's actually right or not now, but...
I mean, you should always be afraid of what the red slime is packing. I say that with a completely unbiased view of red slimes.
Indeed.
And it has nothing to do with the fact that the red slime in the last seed you rolled landed numerous hurt mores on me.
Oh, I'm sad. I missed that. I'll have to watch it back.
0181, but the spell of Hurt, which can be really useful against those mid-tier enemies, now they've got a little more survivability, and there's things their strength might not be able to touch, the rogue scorpions and whatnot. They can chip that down with the Hurt spell, or the wolf, for example.
Ooh, it's a Hurt battle. Oh, we have a town and a cave here for Betastrep, somewhere north. Oh, Breckenary.
For Tov, I believe this is Barkenary, and we will see what he has available to him. Maybe,
Buy it! Buy it! Come on!
It. Oh, winners buy bamboo poles.
Right?
I think so.
Yay!
Haha! Proud of you, Beta.
I'm rooting for Beta to win now, just because of that.
Absolutely. So he's going to stock up with as many herbs as he can get, picking up a dragon scale as well, and a torch.
Ooh, Poltergeist has deal 2 breath.
Well, the good news is you never want to fight poltergeists anyway, so you'll just run away from them without any hesitation. So, looking at it further, having gone back, this is clearly a custom sprite for Diabetes. I'm not sure what character this is supposed to be, or if this is just supposed to be his rendition of Lodo. But it is definitely not one that comes with the default package of sprites from the randomizer.
Diabetes had one hit on that middle slime, but got away.
Betastrep has gone and purchased some fairy waters as well. I'm not sure what money he had, where he got the money to purchase that, because I thought he used it all up in the shop. So I don't remember what he had to sell. But he just picked up a couple of fairy waters to improve his offense even more.
We had a curse belt there on the top of Graves, so that may have been it.
Oh, it's from Ultima Exodus, is what DH Dom is telling us. That feels right.
VaeluV is going to the shop in Breckenary. Come on, bamboo pole. Well, chainmail for sure.
And now he's just going to keep us waiting.
No, he said he was dropping some frames earlier, so he has local recording.
Well, if we see his menu pop up at any point, we can see whether or not he has 27 gold or 17. He has 27. He did not purchase that bamboo pole, and I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Right. That bamboo pole could have helped him kill that golem right there.
Yeah, he could use it like you use the Deku sticks in The Legend of Zelda and just kind of carry the fire from one place to another. That is
sure,
not something you want to see from those golems. Meanwhile, Diabetes gets to level 7 and pulls out a heal more with that.
Ooh, another town for VaeluV here. But an Armored Knight blocks him.
Yeah, and while they do have the Baby Breath without Erdrick's armor, that still does a reasonable amount of damage, and you're still not getting away from them.
Nope. Beta headed in that direction now too, I believe, again. Might find that second town.
So we've now found the Staff Cave, and we have found the Jerk Cave. So all our trade-in locations have been located. Now we just need locations that actually have useful stuff.
Ooh, Beta runs into the same Armored Knight, but gets away. Only to be caught by Blue Dragon.
Yeah, about a 1 in 3 chance of running from the Blue Dragon here, and he used all his luck up on that Armored Knight. And as we know, Betastrep doesn't pack a whole lot of luck to begin with, so...
Question in chat, why is the Jerk Cave called the Jerk Cave? Well, if you don't have Erdrick's token on hand, he will actually kick you out of the cave. You have no choice but to leave forcefully.
Alright, we're gonna see what JJ here does. Does he purchase the ever-important bamboo pole?
Yes.
Oh, he does not!
No? Oh, I thought
He highlighted it, we thought it was happening, and then he juked us.
Boo. Seems like all of our players have found Breckenary, or at least the way to Breckenary for now. Still haven't seen that second town, though.
Yeah, Betastrep making good use of this hurt against the Wraith Knights. That's an always scary proposition, because Wraith Knights are 3 out of 16 hurt resist, but in my experience, it's like 8 out of 16. And so they're always dangerous to try to work hurts on. But he, after getting down a little low, he throws a Fairy Water to make sure that 3 out of 16 didn't hit, and takes on a Wraith Knight for a nice chunk of experience.
Wraith Knights are one of those enemies that they don't have much HP, but they're hard to survive. So they're really, really good to kill, but hey, it's Cole!
There's a number of good things that could be here, and a number of things that are nice, but not what you want to be seeing. That is one of the things that's actually really nice to find in Cole, because you're going to see Betastrep check the shop here. He can regrind that tile for from like 100 to 131 gold per search, something on that range, and so he can get whatever gear he deems necessary to get himself off the ground. He can just keep grinding that over and over.
Hand axe and large would be what I would go for, but I can see him going for flame.
Yeah, with 30 strength already, I don't know if I would push flame here, but I do know that, especially with hurt already, I know betastrep has grinded for flame in the past when he really needed a boost of offense, but given that they already have hurt, and they already have at least a modicum of strength for the early game, I'm not sure he'll go quite that far, but maybe I'm wrong. We'll find out. Meanwhile, JJ comes across the same thing, and we'll see if he makes a similar type of decision.
And Beta is going high enough, I think, for flame. Full plate would be nice too, yeah.
Yeah, it really is one of those things that you can say, to grind this up to that is, 2-3 minutes to get to that flame sword, which feels real bad when you're doing it, but it can save you 3 minutes in the long run, unless you find Erdrick's sword in the next cave or whatever. This is one of those situations when you do something like this, you're actually kind of hoping that Erdrick's sword is going to end up in Charlock to make your time investment pay off the most.
So Schmike was saying 4360 for full hand axe and large shield, and he's gotten past that, so I'd say it's flame now.
Yeah, that is what it looks like. Let's see if what JJ decides to do in the same scenario, and meanwhile we'll have VaeluV and Diabeetus still exploring the world. Has Diabeetus found Brecconary yet, or has he just been grinding? I don't remember us discussing his bamboo pole purchase.
No, I know he was going through the swamp to get to Brecconary, but I don't remember if he actually went in. JJ going more than needed as well for all three items, so maybe going for the flame. And if you're going for flame, which is 9,800, you're going to go the extra 800 for large shield, and then it's just as well to go probably the extra 3,000 and get the full plate as well.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're willing to invest that much time into it, then you're probably willing to go the whole way. I mean, I wouldn't do silver shield for sure, but once you've done 9,800, another 3,200 is child's play. But it does look like JJ actually did stop in time to get just the 4360 stuff that was mentioned earlier, the hand axe and the other gear. So he's off to the races now. Meanwhile, VaeluV comes across Garenham. I missed where exactly that was, but unfortunately for him, not having the keys at the moment, he's not going to be able to explore a whole lot, but he will at least potentially see another place to purchase gear.
So it looks like there was another dead end south of Cole. So JJ's going to leave it at that and try to find something else. So Beta has his flame sword and a large. Yep. Not going for any armor this time. Has that chainmail from earlier, so not real necessary, but it would have been nice.
Oh yeah, with that chainmail, I probably would have done the same thing. Just skip the full plate. I mean, it's not inconsequential. It's another 14 defense, but you always run on the assumption that you're gonna get that armor, the Erdrick's armor, at some point, and the upgrade margin from from full plate to Erdrick's armor is very small, and so sometimes it feels like a waste to go for the full plate to begin with. I am typically more than happy to go straight from chainmail to Erdrick's armor.
Hey, I went from copper sword and leather armor to both Erdrick's items in my race. I also lost. So, don't listen to me. So Diabetes, after getting up to level 8 now, hasn't gotten the Brecconary, but has been grinding all the same, and dying as well, but grinding nonetheless.
Just to address something I briefly mentioned earlier, looking in chat, I am being told that this is not coming from Ultima Exodus, and the latest suspicion is that it's a 4-dimensional version of the 1-dimensional Dragon Quest hero from the Famicom version. They have really gotten their MP up at this point. Diabetes at level 8 has got 70-some-odd MP, which is nice because he's throwing out heal mores, to heal 40 damage, which feels bad, but at the same time, his pool is deep enough that, he can go toe-to-toe with these Wraith Knights right here and hurt them down.
Yeah, having, 73 MP at level 8 is extremely nice. The heal mores aren't a complete waste in.
Meanwhile, betastrep going at an even bigger target in the werewolf, which hits harder and has more hit points than that Wraith Knight. So and then throws out a heal more to say, "Ha ha! You wasted your time."
It's going at him with fairy water. It's the first time I've ever seen someone use a fairy water on a werewolf.
It has been kind of pointed to me off that with all the frame dropping that VaeluV has been seeing, his stream is actually a few minutes behind the others. So you'll have to take that into consideration when you're kind of comparing where he's doing with everybody else. And as he continues to freeze up, it might go even further. We shall see.
Armored Knight using that, Wait, Beta fighting an Armored Knight? He must have been a Death Warp.
I think he realizes once you run into that thing, the best option and fastest option is just to go ahead and let it send you home, because you're not going to win a long-term battle with it. I mean, he had the resources to keep going if he wanted to, but with 48 HP, you're not, you can't even do, like, Dragon Lord strats against him.
I have another raid there from Salaryman, and one earlier from the Owl's Nest. Thank you guys very much.
JJ coming across Sharlock. I think that's our first appearance of Sharlock showing up on our screen, and meanwhile VaeluV coming across Cole, and we'll see what grinding decision he makes. Oh, it looks like there is a town on the west side of JJ's screen, but he may have a very difficult time reaching that with the Armored Knight blocking him. We did just see that the Armored Knight has Stop Spell. I had missed that before. It may have shown up on one of the other battles, but I have missed it, and so this will be a very nice... You kind of hope to see this in a grind tile once you get Erdrick's armor.
Indeed. So we actually did see that town earlier. It was on the right side of the screen going up. JJ had tried to get around and see the very top of Sharlock, but got sent home by presumably another Armored Knight. Or a Blue Dragon or something.
Diabetes is on has Cantlin in his, or not Cantlin, Cole in his sights. So we shall see what the grinding decision he makes on this Death Necklace tile. It seems like VaeluV opted not to even worry about it.
Oh, manages to take out that metal slime and gets a full 255 experience.
8713, rocketing his already massive experience lead up even higher.
Finds the Death Necklace and immediately goes back to see what's in the shop.
My suspicion is that he's going to do what JJ did and go for the hand axe full plate large shield combo. But then again, he does have the chain mail, so he may opt to kind of do the a mixture of the two and just go for the hand axe and the large shield.
JJ gets taken out by another blue dragon.
Yeah, these Sharlock monsters have not stayed contained to the castle, and they are causing quite a bit of consternation for our runners.
Beta hits level 8 now, is catching up a little bit.
So it looks like Diabetes is going to settle for the hand axe and large shield combination and move on. And I think that, you know, as in general with gold grinds, the later you get into seed, the less you want to invest time in them. The return on investment is smaller. And so I think kind of you've seen the order people have entered Cole may also be affecting their decision on what to grind. I don't know if Beta shows up 10 minutes later if he still grinds for the Flame Sword or not.
And Beta's actually going around to the shop in Cole to pick up some herbs. A little bit of extra healing, because heal does take a bunch of heal and heal more do take up some MP. But really, you've got nothing else to spend it on right now. Except maybe that hurt.
Yeah, and the thing about the herbs is that they heal more than the heal spell does. And with 48 HP, or maybe slightly more than that now, heal mores are such a waste because of how much MP they drain, that having something a little better than heal but not as costly as heal more could prove to have some real value in this.
Always have herbs on hand, you never know when you'll need them.
And asked in chat, does Beta regret grinding the Flame Sword if he finds hurt more 2 levels later? Absolutely, that's kind of what happens anytime you grind a lot for the armor or for the sword, and you invest your time into that. You are hoping for that, or specifically for a sword, you are hoping for a late hurt more, because the later hurt more comes, the better your return on investment of improving your weapon increases. If you get hurt more at the next level, then and we've seen that in this tournament already, you know, somebody opting to do this huge grind, somebody else opting not to, they get hurt more, and then they end up way ahead because they didn't lose that time to the grind, and the other person doesn't have an avenue to catch back up.
And that's the thing about this game, there is no way to tell how or when that's going to happen, so you've got to take those chances. Makes it interesting. You either chance the grind, or you chance the exploration, or the enemy grind instead of the gold grind. It can make or break a race, and you know, it's fun to do.
Yeah, there's a lot of kind of like poker similarities in this. You know, in poker, your aces can lose to a 2-7 if you know if things just go the wrong way, and that doesn't mean that playing that and betting that heavily is going to be the wrong decision. It just means that variance exists, and there is a large amount of variance in this. So even the optimal decisions will backfire on you at a reasonable clip.
Right, Artorius points out there's never a right choice, but there may be less bad choices for sure. Like, if you get a gold grind starting out, going to 3250 or 35,000 or whatever may or usually won't work out. It's probably a stupid move, but sometimes you just have to chance it. Maybe go to 5 or 10,000 and you have a better chance of getting at least middling gear.
Yeah, that opening gold grind for sure is one of those where there's not a way you can manipulate that makes you feel good until after everything is resolved and you know whether it was a good decision or not. The Wraith Knight proving to be very dodgy for Betastrep and sends him home. Now that he's got the Flame Sword and some strength, he can actually go at those with melee attacks rather than having to settle for hurt. But he still misses.
JJ was having some fun with the wizard down here, using heal more, kicking away at it, using heal more, kicking away, and then it used deal 2.
And so that is a another Sharlock enemy that is not necessarily going to be pleasant to deal with. Now, the good news is, with a wizard, they're very highly likely to be able to repel it by the time they start doing a Sharlock dive. But in the case where agility, stays low, then that might be another thing they have to worry about on the dive. Especially if armor ends up being in Sharlock.
Which it's been doing a lot lately. So we've kind of stalled now. We haven't seen any new caves or new towns in a while. We're still missing Mountain Cave. That's going to be a big one for us. Freebie Cave. Tablet Cave, both sides of Swamp. Of course, there's something behind Garenham and behind Tantagel that we can't get to yet because we don't have keys. Haven't found Ribbledar.
Betastrep coming across this town, I forget which one it is off the top of my head now. It's Garenham, I think it was. That he's getting stopped by the Red Dragon, not quite able to get there.
It looks like JJ might try his way around to that other town to the west of Sherlock. He's going that way, but keeps running into some big enemies on there.
Yeah, it's one of those things that feels bad when you've traveled such a long distance and you see it right there, and hey, there is a town here that is nearby, but the odds of me being able to get there are, small, but I know where there's a town, so do I just ignore it or do I go? It's a hard one to navigate from time to time. It's one of those things. No decision you make feels like a good one.
Agreed. Everyone feels behind in this game all the time. But JJ has decided to just grind for a while and see what happens. He's looking for 1500 experience now for the next level. Shouldn't take him too long to get there.
I will say he's done a really good job of getting experience, given the amount of exploration he's done. Diabetes did a much longer, kind of dedicated grind, while JJ's, got the most exploration out of anybody so far, and yet the difference between Diabetes and JJ Schmidt is that metal slime.
Well, tried to go out again, and Red Dragon took him out.
Yeah, this is a tough one. You really hope you can get stop spells soon, but how long are you willing to grind for that? Because realistically, at this point, that's the only way you're getting through that. Yeah, you might get a huge boost in agility that helps you out, but really you want stop spell to navigate this world, and so you're hoping that level 10 comes out with that, and you can explore a lot more safely.
VaeluV now headed over that way, may go down for that town. I'm not sure if he knows it's there or not. Oh, look, a Red Dragon! And a back attack. And sleep. And baby breath.
Well, at least that's nice to know. Again, right now it's not really relevant, but when you're diving Sharlock, and you're trying to make that ever-important decision, do I use my MP up to try to stop spell them so I can get away without getting hurt, or do I take my chances with the sleep? If you know, hey, the amount of turns they're going to keep you to sleep might not be as painful as you might previously expect, it might swing that in terms of in favor of running rather than doing the stop spell and losing heal mores on your way down for that.
Oh, it looks like Diabetes got level 10 here. Strength went up 4, Agility went up 4, HP went up 20, and MP went up 4, I think.
That's what Schmike in the chat is saying.
I should look there first.
24. So HP is getting up there where they can actually take on stuff. The real substantial part here is that, again, if you get Stop Spell, now all of a sudden Armored Knights, especially if you're in Betastrep shoes with the Flame Sword, are legitimate grinding targets.
Yeah, with that heal more, it's possible. Yeah, Schmike pointing out, looks like you have to go east past Breckenary, and unfortunately that's covered by Red Dragons, Armored Knights, Blue Dragons, Wraith Knights. It's going to be hard to get through for a while.
So Betastrep actually going toe-to-toe with this Armored Knight. Unfortunately, Armored Knight landed its first Stop Spell, but he's trying to use herbs to heal over that Fire Breath and keep going. And he's did like 15 and 17 damage on his swings, so it'll take probably about 7 swings to get him down. And so he's decided this is worth his investment here. And well, you know, it's a good 172 experience if you can get it, but he's running out of resources at the moment.
Not quite.
And now Diabetes is trying to go toe-to-toe with his wizard, and is about to give the bad news.
Run! Run away!
Fortunately for Diabetes, that was the mineral for a DL2 breath, and with that extra 20 hit points he got for level 10, he was able to tank it and get away without having to reset his position.
Diabetes not that far away from level 11 now, so may stay close and grind some of these mid-tier enemies.
Yeah, if you could find a zone like this that sits there and constantly has Wyverns, Magi Wyverns, Wraith Knights, anything in that, Druid Lords, Droll Magi, anything in that tier, without having a really nasty Sherlock monster, I would sit there until the cows come home in this seed.
Heading into Rimmaldar now, this looks like the first time he's been in there. Stopping at the weapon shop.
So I don't know if we'd seen this or not on another screen. I remember VaeluV going into Garenham, but the screen was having issues at that point in time. But there is a silver shield in Garenham, so if they decide to do like a real gold grind in the castle later, that might be something they grind up for.
Right, of course we have no idea what's in the castle yet because we haven't seen any keys.
Yeah, it really feels like this one's gonna break into who gets the keys first, because with knowing where Garenham is and with having the back of the castle, you would assume one of those is going to give you the opportunity to at least have more zones to explore, in terms of either monster zones or maybe swamp to get to another side. So the keys is going to open up a whole lot of things beyond just extra locations. Or extra chests. It's going to potentially give you other places to get off the ground rather than having to beat your head against these red dragons again, like JJ is currently doing.
Diabetes finds the stones of Sunlight Cave and gets fairy water.
Betastrep trying his luck on a metal slime, did not turn out quite as well for him as it did for Diabetes earlier, and he walks away disappointed.
JJ was headed back for that town again, I think, past Sherlock, and finds a red dragon, left and right.
So is that town over on VaeluV's side the town that JJ saw that we've never been able to get to? Is that what I'm... That's even ruder, that it just sits there and taunts you and says, "Hi, I'm a town that's here, don't forget about me!"
We watch, it'll be Hoxness.
Sounds about right.
I mean, the fact that they found 3 towns and they haven't been Hoxness yet is amazing.
Yeah, the flip side of that is it could be Rimmeldar, and and anybody who gets there is like, "I've been staring at this town for half an hour now. I had all this opportunity to get there, and now I'm so far behind." And it basically puts everybody into panic mode as soon as they get there.
Oh no, this is a fun method. Go north, maybe you get out of that zone with the red dragons, and get past, maybe swing your way down around, or do some more exploration to the east.
And that is a very veteran-type move right there. It is the knowledge to say, "Hey, every path may not be the same, so let's take the scenic route and see if that goes any better for us." And that's a really smart play.
Yep, just one line of tiles to the north, and you could run into, like, blue slimes, or just more red dragons.
Yeah, sometimes it doesn't work out. I don't know if he's in the same... What? Occasionally you do get away from a red dragon. That's about a quarter chance to run right there that JJ just pulled off. So he's gonna see what he can do now that he managed to escape the fun police for once.
Level 11 coming, 3, 2, 5, and 12. That's okay. A lot of MP, though. We're pretty much where we need to be with MP to finish the game, but not with anything else.
Yeah, that MP is nice, but from a spell perspective, you know, what good's it doing you? You're not doing a lot of damage to anything. I mean, at diabetes level, you can at least heal a decent range, and so you can get into that swing fight like we had earlier. Betastrep, to jump around, Betastrep just ran away from an armored knight a few steps away from this mystery town, and is now about to approach it and resolve the singularity here. And it is Cantlin.
Ooh. Still no keys available, maybe some better shopping, but...
Honestly, to me, this is the worst of all worlds. Hoxness, while the spike tile isn't a whole lot, there at least could be a zone to grind in. They've got strength, they've got heals, they've got whatever, and you can find those mid-tier monsters. Hoxness often gives you an extra grind zone that you can really make use of. Rimmeldar, obviously, keys. But Cantlin, at this point, especially Betastrep, he doesn't really plan on buying anything else, as you can see, since he didn't even bother to look at the shops in Cantlin. And so, without the keys, Cantlin's pretty much useless to him as well, so it's kind of the worst of all worlds at this point.
Indeed. Goes a bit south, finds a blue dragon. So still in some Sherlock enemy zones, but maybe able to find something else down south here. And knows to keep his HP high, just in case.
Yeah, one of the things is, you know, Dragonlord 2 Breath can take 272 damage, so once you have more than 72 HP, you always want to keep your health topped up above that line. But similarly, right now, Hurtmore can do from 30 to 45 damage. So at 49 HP, you want to make sure you can keep your HP over that 45 threshold in order to make sure a surprise Hurtmore doesn't finish you off.
Beta trying to survive against this X-Knight here. Knows if he goes back, it's going to be hard to get back through here again. Doesn't want to let him go.
And we have found out that Goldmen have sleep to add to the fun monster set that's happening here. jjschmidt has to deal with another red dragon on his way to Cantlin, and manages to get away from it as well after an extended battle. So we're getting close. He's getting close to there. And now he has to escape from his armored knight.
Diabetes just run from a red dragon, but is going back for coal? You know, we're 49 minutes into this seed, and we haven't found a story item yet. Or a key.
Yeah, that's part. Oh, but we
Hello.
have just found Rimmeldar on Betastrep's screen. This is like south of Cantlin and Sherlock. So if JJ's managed to get past this Armored Knight, and he might have an opportunity to get there, but it's a pretty decent ways away through the death row of Armored Knights and Red Dragons. So this could be a really huge boon for Betastrep right now, as it opens up a huge portion of the seed for him.
Yep, we've got a chest in here, we've got 3 chests in the back of Garenham, as well as a cave, and 4 chests in Tantagel, and a cave as well. Only one of those caves going to have chests in it, though. Ah, no, tablet right. Could be 2 of them.
And so Rimmeldar has borrowed the flute from Cole, and is offering that to our runner. So we have found all the pretty much completely unnecessary key items, and are still waiting to find one of the, essentials.
See, we have a lot of DK fans in chat.
Yeah, the influence is growing. And now that we got the one person finding Cantlin, we're getting a whole streak of them. VaeluV popping in as well.
Yeah, there's a broadsword in there, but probably... oh, wait, no. Oh, right, we don't know if VaeluV has any weapons or not because of the streak cutting in there. Ruler, all 4 players are using the same seed. Makes it way easier to track and commentate. And watch.
Yeah, I think I heard rumors that there was some rando community out there that tried to do mixed seeds, and it did not go well, and the practice was very rapidly ceased.
I imagine so. I missed the first 3 chests in Tantagel, but there is one with wings here. Oh, sorry, I missed the first 2. Hey, the armor!
That is a very nice find, and now Betastrep's decision to not go for the full plate saves him, gives him an extra minute saved.
So Schmike says wings, money, wings, and armor, so there is a gold grind available if need be. There was actually talks in our Discord the other day about making a 16-person layout just to see what it would be like. Who wants to track that?
Sounds fun to me. I'll be happy to be one of those 16 runners.
We've got Tablet Cave here for Betastrep behind Tantagel, and it has the Silver Harp.
Hey, we found a thing! So his next step is going to be, obviously, the grave. Or, I mean, not the grave. It's going to be Garenham, and the chests behind it, and whatever cave is behind it. If there's swamp behind it, then you're going to cross that and see what you can do out there without having to deal with this continent of death. But if it's mountain back there, then probably the next stop is to go and dive deep grave now that you have that key. You basically want to make sure that everything with the key you go do right now, because that's where you're going to get a big gain over your opponent at the moment.
Indeed. I mean, we're only missing, what, mountain and swamp now in caves? So, you've got all your chests really found, other than mountain. You just need to get to them.
Yeah, that's a good point. So if Mountain is behind Garanham, we don't really even need to find Swamp unless the coordinates are not countable.
Right. Hoxness being the only town left, that's a point. So there is one item potentially in Hoxness as well, but that's only one chest.
Yeah, I think we've seen one cursed belt up to this point. We may see more as Betastrep goes opening up most of the rest of the chests in this world, but we have seen the Death Necklace in Cole, so that one cursed belt we found has already been accounted for.
And for those who don't know, the cursed belt is put into a chest if there's an item on a search location. If we don't find any cursed belts and there's only 3 chests left, guaranteed those chests are the 3 story items we need. Of course, the fact that cursed belts could be in Sherlock doesn't help, so the way we look at it is if you find 3 cursed belts, then all 3 search spots are active. Just one of those things you like to know when you're playing the game because it could speed things up.
Betastrep now critting a metal slime, and so he's going to get his big HP boost, level boost.
Beta turning in his silver harp now, wants the staff of rain instead.
Dragons are continuing to plague JJ immensely.
Yeah, the levels have kind of stopped here for a while now.
Yeah, and I'll say the longer it goes, as I said before, the more this benefits Betastrep's Flamesword grind. And even though he's only facing VaeluV, not Diabetes or JJ, since it's 2 separate races, it is going to give him kind of an edge on all of them, given how just lackluster these levels have been. I'll also just mention that he took out an Armored Knight because he does now have Erdrick's Armor, which renders him immune to Stop Spell. And that has been the big thing that stopped them. They could kill an Armored Knight, but once it threw a Stop Spell and they couldn't heal more anymore, they had to be like, alright, we're done now. But now that he is immune to Stop Spell, he can just, mow through those, get free turns, and even the turns he doesn't get free, they're breathing Baby Breath, which is now reduced by 1/3. And so he can really make a lot of use out of those pretty rich XP monsters.
So we have another town here for Betastrep. I'm not sure if that's Rimaldar or not.
I think that one's Garanham.
Oh, okay. And we do have a red dragon outside of it, casting sleep again. Hey, Diabetes found some keys as well.
Kind of feel bad for JJ in this scenario, because I feel like the number of attempts that were made to get to this direction are very heavily weighted towards JJ, but Diabetes, getting his dedicated grind earlier has, it's only 2 more agility, so probably not a factor in this, but he manages to sneak through and not have to deal with quite as many Red Dragon issues as JJ has had to deal with.
And Diabetes gets an immediate warp home, so should have his Erdrick's Armor shortly.
That does mean that he did not check the chest in Rimaldar, meaning that he does not know about the Fairy Flute. That may be a good thing or a bad thing, depending upon who you ask, but it is at least something that, if it comes down to us counting coordinates or something like that, is this the flute, or is this something important? Do I do it? Whatever. That could come into play later.
Yep. JJ is catching up in experience, but still does not have Erdrick's armor now and still hasn't got any keys.
But he is only one screen away from Rimmildar at this point. Rimmildar is just across that swamp to the east, so if he can get through this Axe Knight and doesn't get stopped by anything else nasty, he will be right there behind Diabeetus. Meanwhile, Betastrep, after getting blocked by that red dragon right outside of Garanham, has opted to see what is underneath the grave instead, hoping for a better monster set than he's seen in the overworld.
We've already seen golems and red dragons in here, though, and I believe armor knights as well.
Betastrep getting surprise DL2 breathed by the golem and is very happy that he has that fairy flute so that he can guarantee an escape.
Q, I think the fighter's ring was the biggest thing in there.
Yeah, I want to say that was also where they got their other cursed, or their one cursed belt, and I don't remember what else.
A torture and herb or something inconsequential. Oh, ring, belt, and money.
Unfortunately, with the red dragons in this top floor of the grave, Betastrep is not having any better fortune than he did in the overworld. At the same time, I believe Diabeetus is doing the exact same thing and trying to dive down through grave. So we'll see if he has more fortune than Betastrep did.
Okay, the last enemy in the grave on the top floor, anyway, is the metal slime.
It is interesting to note that Diabeetus is taking the top 3 chests in the grave. Now, he's already seen those before, so what that means is he is prepping himself so that if he dies, he can do a gold grind, get that flame sword, get that silver shield in Garanham, and be fully decked out for the remainder of the seed.
So Diabeetus now running from a lot of these Sherlock enemies, and JJ still fighting. There's a good chance he'll catch up in exploration. Still needs to find those keys, though.
Actually, it looks to me like he's trying to grind here under Garanham, which is an interesting decision, given, obviously, the existence of these armored knights. Must have seen some other things he liked. I know I saw him killing Droll Magi earlier, so maybe that was what he was aiming for. Didn't realize it was in the same zone as the armored knights, or I'm not exactly sure what he might have been thinking at that moment, but he saw something that he liked.
Beta now has made his way back to Garanham. Is going to check those 3 chests in the back. Some gold, some empty, and some gold. So that empty was likely an herb, because he had to use a key to get in.
And this is going to be, well, he just started moving down, which means that it has to be Swamp North. And the token is in Grave 4. So hopefully Betastrep heads back there before long. The good news for Betastrep, if he wants that gold grind, he has it now, because he got those 3 chests in Garanham before getting killed in the swamp. But he's using return, so clearly the gold grind is not high on his list. And if I had the flame sword and large shield, it probably wouldn't be in mine either.
No, most runners will choose to go with the layered shield through to win, unless your agility is really low.
Yeah, exactly. If I'm grinding for something else, I'll go ahead and take that grind up for Silver Shield. But doing a dedicated grind for Silver Shield is not necessarily favored.
Level 12, 1, 3, 5, 4, Stop Spell, and Hurt More. Hurt More is what we're looking for.
Yeah, that's really a big boon to Diabetes, and really every minute that JJ goes without getting to that, which, you know, he's pretty close, but every minute he goes without getting to that is really going to hurt him, because once he gets there, now those Armored Knights aren't nearly as bad, even though they do have Stop Spell. If you can land one hurt more, you can swing down after that Stop Spell lands. And it'll make getting through a whole lot easier. He also learned Stop Spell on that level, which means that those Red Dragons could potentially be nullified as well. So really, JJ's big issue being behind is less exploration at the moment and more he needs the amount of time it takes him to get to level 12.
He's just 2 rooms away from this final chest now.
Betastrep does chip damage and takes out another Metal Slime, so that's his second one of the seed, to get himself to level 11. And now he's heading towards Cantlin to get those coordinates to see what he needs to do about that.
Hoping they're close, but this is a very windy map, so you never know. Ah, the torch in Deep Grave.
And there are no coordinates, so that particular search is not going to yield him any advantage. That does mean that the rest of our key items are locked in the mountain cave. So it is going to be a very, very interesting mountain cave, or very filled mountain cave, and will likely... Oh wait, no, that's wrong. I'm wrong. Well, I think from Betastrep's perspective, the token was in Grade 4, so that is something that is going to have to be explored. So Mountain Cave is going to have the stones plus maybe the sword.
Still have Hoxness as well, we haven't seen.
You're right. And without there being coordinates, our find of only one search cursed belt does mean that Hoxness has a better chance than it did before of having an item.
Beatus has now started his gold grind, likely to see around 14.5 come out of him. Maybe go up to 25 to get the Flame Sword as well.
Yeah, that's kind of where I think I would go. And hopefully he saves, because there are red dragons between him and the Silver Shield. And they probably are going to want to stop him from acquiring it.
Q points out Flame Sword with Hurt More. I mean, there are some enemies that Hurt More is not great against, especially those red dragons, so it might be worth it. I mean, you've got lots of MP, but you're going to use that in heal mores, pretty much.
Yeah, at this stage, having that offense is really nice. You don't know where the sword is yet, and you've covered most of your bases. You know, if you're going to have to go down into, Charlotte to get the sword, you're going to want to be able to have some melee offense to deal with some stuff. If you're going to have, you don't know what the grinds are, if you're going to have to grind on golems, or I don't know if you're going to try to grind on red dragons, but maybe blue dragons, or even given the fact they have Erdrick's armor and what they have, you might, even with armored knights, decide, hey, I don't want to throw out all this MP at once to get that grind when I could swing and have to go back for refills so much less frequently. And so there are a lot of benefits, especially given that he has the hand axe right now rather than the broadsword, so it's a plus 13. So the difference between getting the flame sword is the difference between the flame sword and Erdrick's armor. It's very much not inconsequential. And for when you're doing the gold grind in the castle, I want to say the flame sword's maybe 30 seconds, not 2 minutes. So it's not really that expensive. I think the full grind for like the 33,000 comes out to about 2 minutes.
Right, grinding in the castle, of course, you're getting between 5 and 7 something in gold, whereas grinding the Death Necklace chest, you're usually getting around 120.
Yeah, that Death Necklace grind, the small amount of Death Necklace grind is why it's very situational versus the Castle Gold grind, which is used very, very frequently. Betastrep gets across the Swamp Cave and sees another town, which he knows has to be Hawksness. So we're about to see what Hawksness has to offer us, and if it's not too far away from Garenham, given if they have the outside spell, and that is Swamp South. That he just came out of, so when he needs to get a refill, he can walk in there, cast outside, go back to Garenham, refill, and then head back across. And that assumes that the Swamp Cave itself doesn't have a really nice grind, and we haven't checked that out yet.
Right, the advantage to grinding in Swamp is you wouldn't have to use Key every time if you did it right.
Betastrep, seeing those specters, is 42 experience away from the next level and saying, you know what, let's get that next level before I try to move on, which is, he doesn't know is going to turn out very favorable for him, because now there's several hurt-morable enemies that can show up on this tile, and if it's a red dragon, he can throw a stop spell out.
Yep, exactly the level he needed for where he is, and it's an armored knight, so that hurt more is exactly what you want. 2 will take it out, no problem. And there are our stones. So now here's a question. Do we care where Mountain is?
If we want Erdrick's Sword, we do. Or let me phrase that. If we want to rule out Erdrick's Sword being in the overworld, we do. There is the school of thought that says, hey, let's dive Sharlock instead, since, you're talking 7 versus 5, and you don't know where this is. And this overworld's pretty nasty, but the flip side is one of the things that makes this overworld so nasty is all the Sharlock monsters, and guess what's going to be in Sharlock? All the Sharlock monsters. So you might as well go ahead and deal with those in the overworld and get yourself 5 quick and easy chests to find rather than the deep and far away ones that are in Sharlock.
Right, so Beta is on this side of the world. We'll check for Mountain Cave anyway while he's here. But looks like he's running out of space fairly quick.
Yeah, I'm really kind of surprised. I thought they'd pretty much covered that. Oh, never mind.
Oh, that opens up
for the second continent.
So all 4 players are running the same seed here, but it's 2 different races. Beta versus VaeluV and Diabetes versus jjschmidt. Enemies, you take that one, because I'm not sure.
Alright, so the question in chat is whether or not enemies take into account the stats the heroes have. So if something has weak breath but can do more damage by attacking, will they be more likely to attack? The answer to that is basically no. With the caveat being that it's not so much the stats, but the status. If they have landed a stop spell on the hero, they will not attempt another stop spell. If they have slept the hero, they will not try to sleep the hero again while they're asleep. And if they have a healing spell, they'll only use that when their HP is below a certain threshold. But the way the skills work is literally there's a class of 4 kind of status skills: stop spell, sleep, heal, and heal more. A monster can have exactly one of those 4 skills and has them will use them either 25% of the time, 50% of the time, and 75% of the time. If they roll and it rolls that, and the conditions are met for that, like the 25% health or the hero's not been stop spelled or slept yet, then they'll cast that. If the condition is not met for that, or it rolls, hey, we're not going to use that, then it goes and checks a second skill set. And that's the Hurt More, the Dragon Lord, and the Dragon Lord 2 Breath, and it will attempt to use one of those. Those are unconditionally used if it rolls for that. And then if that fails, or if that they say, I don't want to use that, then they're going to swing. So here you'll see the Wyvern has 50% sleep and 75% hurt, so the first thing it's going to say is the hero asleep? If so, we're just going to go do the hurt check. If the hero's not asleep, we're going to throw him to sleep half the time. The other half the time, we're going to go and say, hey, let's roll and see if we're going to do hurt. 3/4 of the time there, they'll use hurt. The other 25% of the time, they'll swing.
Tilo explains it much better than I could. So Beta has found Mountain, by the way. I missed if he got anything in the top, but has found a red dragon, of course.
He did land the stop spell on the red dragon. I've not seen if that was his first attempt or not, and so we'll see how how everything plays out there. And according to chat, the sword was on the top of the mountain, so I missed that. I was talking about the monster skills. That's a pretty big thing. Now he's going to continue to dive mountain because he's not found the token yet, and so he's going to go rule that out. But finding the sword means he knows nothing of importance can be in Charlock. He has the ring, he has the necklace, he has the flute, and obviously the token can't be in Charlock because he has to have the token to get to Charlock. So at least for Betastrep, his knowledge is going to be complete as soon as he finishes up Mountain here.
Which is this last chest right here, and it's empty.
Diabetes did a preemptive rescue of the princess, only to find out that the princess is not needed. It is also fun, the sprite, due to the way they have to deal with pallets and whatnot, the way the sprite happens when it is walking a particular direction holding the princess's hair changes from brown to blue. So, just constantly changing her hair color.
When you're a princess, you can do that. We've seen increased MP gains as Diabetes now at level 13 has 105 MP. Seeing that stat in the green, meaning you pretty much don't need any more MP to win the game if the other stats line up as well. Right now, with 80 HP, you're going to need a little bit more, but we're likely to see another couple levels before we start to go over the in-game.
And much to DK's chagrin, Diabetes has come back to Remeldar, checked that chest, found the flute with a full inventory, and opted to drop something in exchange for the fairy flute.
So Betastrep is finished with the second continent, warps back. Going to take the inn and then wander around some.
At this point, he is finished with everything. Just has to go back to the grave, grab that token, go to the jerk, and then he can, sit there and grind. Now, the question is, what's he going to grind on? He did have that Armored Knight and Hawksness, which again was nice and pretty close to Garanham, but we haven't seen what's actually in Swamp on the way there, and so that could be something nice too. If these red dragons go down, or the stop spell lands, they have no stop spell resistance, then that's going to be a very, very beautiful grind.
jjschmidt still not finding any story items from what we can tell. He's falling a little behind in experience again now.
Yeah, he still doesn't look like he's found Remeldar and hasn't gotten his keys yet, and that's just really painful at this point, because as we know, everything is locked behind those keys.
And VaeluV, of course, a little bit behind in experience that we can see, but you also see his timer next to his name there. Due to some drop frames, he is a little bit behind on the restream. Beta now diving the grave, should have his token momentarily.
runs into an Armored Knight in this zone, which is, again, something you very, very much want to see at this point in time.
Schmike pointing out you don't have to go to Deep Grave, you'll have to go to chest number 4, which is right here. There's a good chance he'll cast outside immediately here.
Yeah, there's literally nothing else for him to look for, not even a ring or a scale or a, anything. So yeah, he takes a few steps, realizes that's the case, and says, "I'm done with this. Let's go get our stuff and figure out our grind."
Diabetes now made it across swamp and is heading for Hoxness. And VaeluV is finally hitting level 12 and getting that hurt more.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised now that he's at level 12 that JJ has not managed to get those other places, because how easily neutralizable the Red Dragon and AK-47 are. But it is kind of tucked away down there around everything, and I don't have a sense for all the dead areas of the map, because everything in the map is actually pretty streamlined towards each other once you know where everything is. You don't have to do a whole lot of extra wandering. And so all the stuff away from that, the players have gone through once and seen, and those haven't been the parts that have caught our eyes. So I'm sure this world is enormous. It's just the area of stuff that actually has stuff is pretty close together.
Diabetes now picking up Stones of Sunlight. Will he go and try to find the mountain cave, or will he just hope it's in Sherlock? The sword, that is.
Yeah, I think I said it earlier, but I feel like in this situation like this, you have to at least... So what I would kind of do is I would be searching for mountain here. You're going to find enough monsters, given what we've seen in the overworld, that you can keep your grind going. And, it's not just that it's, it's 5 versus 7, but it's also the walk to get those 5 is so short versus the walk to get into the chest in Sherlock. And, less resource intensive. If I died before I got there, that becomes a more interesting question. But while I'm already got this position, in my opinion, you're going to go for that mountain cave while you've got position, and only think about abandoning it for Sherlock if you die before you get there.
And now that he's following the north coast, he should have it in a couple seconds.
And we have the Quad Armored Knights on our stream at the moment.
2 down, 3 down.
1 stream down.
1 stream down. The Armored Knight killed the stream, oh no. I miss Chaos, where you can walk into a short Sherlock at level 1 and grab the armor out of there.
Yeah, tiebreaker flags are the best.
And here we have a mountain cave for Diabetes.
He's apparently very angry at that, because he opts to hurt the dungeon. My guess is he's frustrated with the lack of Radiant, and so he opted to give the dungeon a what for? Maybe throw a little fire in there to light it up a bit before he put something more permanent on.
V has filled up their inventory with fairy waters and 1 torch. And apparently you can't use a torch in lighted places. Hey, a sword.
So now Diabetes doesn't really have anything else to die for, so we'll see what he opts to do. According to the tracker, he doesn't have a dragon scale, but I can't imagine that's what he's going to go, or he's going to care about that. I imagine he's probably... I don't know why he's actually walking the princess out rather than just casting outside. Oh, there we go. He's immediately going to go check his... well, no, he's going to cast Return. I thought he was going to go find those locations and check spike tiles. So I'm seeing a Armored Knight in a black screen on beta screen, and I'm pretty sure that is the spike tile in the swamp cave. So he has found an Armored Knight very, very close to a healing, and has found because they have stop spell, he can get away with just 1 hurt more per Armored Knight with very little pain. He goes ahead and does a swing. That opening swing, you do that just in case you happen to roll a critical hit on that opening swing. Since you're going to have to do a hurt more in a swing anyway, you have that first swing to see if you can avoid using the hurt more to begin with.
Diabetes perfectly dragging the princess around everywhere he goes. Hey, JJ's found some keys. That must be Rimildar. As has VaeluV.
Yeah, they're both about to get their flutes. We'll see what decisions they make regarding flute acquisition. JJ was forced to pick it up, and VaeluV decided to pick it up under cover of night, or drop it under cover of night, not wanting to be judged for his decisions.
Diabetes putting that stop spell he's learned into good use and throwing it at Red Dragon.
Have we seen a stop spell miss against a Red Dragon yet?
Not that I've seen, but I haven't really been paying attention to all of it. There's 4 people to watch here. 3.5 even.
Well, I did just see Diabetes wake up, so I'm wondering if that was due to a failed stop spell or due to an ambush. Because a 1 out of 16 stop spell makes me think, okay, let's go after these these red dragons are great things to deal with. That becomes 3 out of 16, and my interest in dealing with red dragons drops dramatically.
Chet's saying they've missed at least 1, maybe 2.
So, yeah, that makes red dragons a little less favorable to deal with, but we were concerned more about that when we were thinking about spike tiles. Now that we know what the spike tiles are,
Ugh. Yeah, maybe not.
Yeah, that's the one that I'm going to be running from, rather than trying to throw a stop spell at to get away from.
I tried running from lots of red dragons earlier. Didn't go well. Last night. Yeah, last night. Diabetes filling up with some fairy water there.
Yeah, so now on the left side of our screen, we're going to be seeing a lot of grinding. On the right side of our screen, we're going to be seeing everybody trying to hurry up as quickly as possible to get all the rest of the good stuff that the players on the left have already found. The good news is, at level 13, the world's pretty tame now versus what it was earlier, so the exploration is not going to be particularly difficult, it's just time-consuming.
Indeed.
Level 15, still showing to be pretty much worthless. Remember when we were talking about at level, 4, and they almost doubled their strength? You know, going from 16 to 30, and I was like, man, it would be nice if you could get another level to double your strength from 30 to 60. Well, we're level 15, and we still haven't reached that 60 strength yet. So there is going to be probably some more extensive grinding unless we have an absolute mega level, because realistically speaking, even with the Death Necklace, you aren't going to even think about diving until you've got about 80 strength. Without the Death Necklace, which obviously everybody has that list, but without Death Necklace HP, you're going to want to even go higher than that, usually.
Right, I think the threshold for Death Necklace is, what, 130 HP
I think
is what you want?
I think it's 129 is the one that will put you at 97 hit points after you use it. So that's kind of the number you look at, but while that makes sense from 97 is the magic number because if you have 86 defense, then the most the Dragon Lord can do to you, whether they do Fire Breath or its melee attack, is 48, which means at 97 you can take 2 48s in a row and still be fine. The problem comes after that when you try to heal more. Heal more does a range of 85 to 100. You're not always going to refill everything completely, so if you're down to 1 hit point, heal more and go up to 92, then the next hit can knock you down below that 48 threshold, and you might have to double heal or whatever. So while 97 is that kind of key threshold number, you really want to look at something a little bit higher than that. That is one reason that the hit points on the tracker here, you'll see these orange versus green, which kind of for a Dragon Lord readiness, the hit points don't go green at 97, but they go green at 101, because when we talked about this, kind of thought that extra healing aspect matters. That low heal more aspect matters.
For sure, and the other thing to look at too is, of course, like you said, 85 to 100 for your heal more. Once you get over 135, 140, especially HP, there's kind of no reason not to use a Death Necklace, because you'll never get the heal up that high again. So unless you have like a really bad defense or something, you're pretty much going to put it on every time.
Yeah, absolutely. 148 is kind of the magic number on that side for that exact reason, that it's 48, again, being that max damage the Dragon Lord can do. No matter how high your defense is, the Dragon Lord can still do 48 damage on breath attacks 1/8 of the time. So you take that 48, and then you take the 100 heal more, and anything above that is completely wasted, as you said, because you're not going to swing, below or at 48 or above 48, and so you're going to wait until a heal more wouldn't get to the top of that range anyway. So once you get past 148, yeah, there is no reason not to use the Death Necklace, really.
And we've seen quite a few seeds this tournament that have had more than 148 HP. Just looking over our runner's stats here right now, Diabetes is level 15, has Urgix Armor, Silver Shield, Urgix Sword, so it's completely kitted out. Only 78 defense, so like you said, 86 is the number here you want to see. So that 48 is the max attack the Dragon Lord can do. You're still down a good amount, so you're probably seeing a hit for maybe a physical for 50, maybe even for 50 maybe?
Yeah, at 78 they'll be doing 50 on Beta's side. At 70, we could be doing up to 52. That is... obviously, their strength is nowhere near, so the agility is going to go... probably going to go up by the time they get there.
Probably.
But 60 agility is not something you want to be dealing with Sherlock with, especially not with Sleepy Reds. My general threshold for agility that I'm okay diving at is 72. There's a couple reasons for that. The one is that at 72, you're at least 40% to run from everything. The other one is at 72, if you have all the gear, if you're fully kitted out like Diabetes is, that puts your defense at 86, which is that threshold for the Dragon Lord hitting for 48 max. And so it kind of combines the ability to run with the ability to absorb hits. And so that's kind of the magic number I'm always looking for a dive.
We got 4 strength here on level 16. So only 68 strength, 105 AP. Still got to go a lot more yet. Not even the Death Necklace is good enough at the moment.
But we did get 10 agility, so that's going to help the defense aspect out quite a bit. It is going to put Diabetes high enough that he will be repelling Wizards now, which, as we remembered, Wizards have the Dragon Lord 2 breath, and so being able to repel those could be consequential.
Indeed. So we have Beta and Diabetes both go back to the Swamp Cave to grind those Armored Knights. And by the look of it, we have our other 2 runners either in Swamp Cave or going to Swamp Cave. Probably not for the same reason, but we might have all 4 runners in Swamp Cave for a second.
Yeah, I've been kind of keeping my eyes on the left side here, watching stats and whatnot, and have missed what things our JJ and VaeluV have been doing in the acquisition phase. I don't know if they've checked the coordinates yet or not.
Both seem to have Harp, according to our trackers. Of course, VaeluV is a little bit harder to track. Both have Erdrick's Armor, Hand Axe, and Large Shield, so they're pretty even. And both at level 13.
And our tracker is telling us that he's pretty sure JJ did check the coordinates, and so at this point, we're gonna. I think we're about to. We see VaeluV does the preemptive princess rescue, and gonna go see what else is there, which means that he obviously has not checked the coordinates yet, because otherwise you wouldn't rescue the princess. And meanwhile, JJ is running straight ahead and was probably gonna be high-fiving VaeluV before long, trying to take out this armored knight guarding the stones.
Golem stops VaeluV right in front of the Armored Knight here. Not going to take a chance blowing the Fairy Flute.
Which is a good time to point out that, since we couldn't see it on stream, that VaeluV did indeed decide to pick up the Fairy Flute. In general, one of the reasons you might not, we may say whatever about the Fairy Flute, there's a good reason that you might not want to pick it up, and that is that inventory space is precious. And especially in a seed where your strength is so abysmally low, there's chances you might need to start diving it to be ready to throw Fairy Waters at the Dragon Lord, which will do a guaranteed 9 to 16 damage. And for each one of those you have, that could potentially take a heal more away, each space could potentially take a heal more away from what you're going to end up needing to have at the end, and increase your chances of success. So having that extra inventory spot, once the flute's in there, you can't get it out. Having the extra inventory stock can be fairly valuable at the end of the seed in low strength starts. So there is, it's not just the memes. There is a legitimate reason you might not want to pick up the Fairy Flute. Same reason you might not want to rescue the Princess and would rather count the coordinates, because Wayland's love will take up that spot in the inventory. However, having said all that, when Golems have DL2 breath, I would tend to pick up the Fairy Flute regardless, because it's, even though you're likely to run from them, a failed run can eat resources pretty quickly.
And you never want to run into a sleep casting Golem at the last spike tile right before the Dragon Lord. Exactly, Q. A couple of things we were talking about the other night in a race. Tips on how to play Dragon Warrior. Crit, and don't die.
Yeah, if you can really string those two together, you'll find you're going to have a decent amount of success in this game.
The funny thing is, you can actually RNG manip that out, but you'd be playing a lot longer than the other racers.
Yeah, I've had to do RNG manip a couple of times in league races over the years, and just to get off the ground or to make a certain trip or whatever. And it's not a fast process to figure out, okay, I need to stop for a frame here, or I need to press B this many times, or I need to whatever, because you make one mistake, you move on and have to try the next one. It's not a fast process. It's very, very rare that you want to attempt that.
And it's so hard to do, like you said, every step, every break, it's all very, very calculated once you figure it out, which again takes hours sometimes. If you make one wrong step, you turn the wrong direction, you bonk something. Oh, sorry, you gotta start again.
In the league finals this year, there was a permanent repel seed where we couldn't fight anything to grind, and then the next zone was this absolutely brutal zone with all sorts of horrible monsters that would kill you in one shot, and you had to go a ways across that to get something worthwhile. So we all kind of beat our head against it for a while, but I realized as I was doing that, okay, if I close the text box of this note, then I can move on, and I'll run into this thing here. So if I bonk into this wall one time before I turn, then whatever. And I was able to manipulate about halfway down there. Then I screwed up the manipulation one time, and that happened to be the time I got lucky enough to get down to the town, so it was all for naught anyway.
Still, it was nice you were able to do it. I've certainly done it myself, maybe just trying to find a red slime or a blue slime or something outside of Dandagel. It's hard to do, but if you get it down, then you could get that same enemy every time, and then slowly build up your experience.
Okay, I missed level 17.
But
in chat, they're saying it was 23804. That would be what we call Go mode. So at 128 attack power, the 128 attack power that betastrep has, according to my chart, to have an 80%-ish chance to win, you want to get 17 swings in. They have 14 heal mores. So it is not a free thing by any means, but it's definitely one that you feel like you want to take.
So you've got 102 HP, which means there is the possibility for doubles. You might not get a lot of them, but the possibility is there. I'd take Fairy Water, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Fairy Water doing a range of 9 to 16, which is an average of 12.5. That puts you at about 134 attack power equivalent. So you definitely want to have Fairy Water in this kind of situation. 102 doesn't necessarily rule out doubles, but with 79 defense power, the Dragon Lord could swing up to 50, and so your odds of doubles are a little further down. You know, Diabeetus would be in a better shape than betastrep is because of the large shield versus the silver shield. The other part is that betastrep has no reason to repel anything because he can't repel wizards yet at 79 defense power, and so we did see them on the top floor, and maybe they can slow you down just a little bit, but for the most part, this is just iffy.
Yeah, Beta's gonna go for it anyway. At least take one dive, and maybe if this doesn't work out, he'll grind another level. Or go for some Fairy Water. Breckonary's not that far away.
I mean, and let's be real, betastrep does have a history of having really, really bad Charluck fortunes, no matter how good his stats are. And so, he may think, hey, if this is winnable, let's just go for it, because it's not going to matter if I can make it safer anyway.
So VaeluV is still at level 14, again, being 5 minutes back or so. Maybe a level 15 by now, based on the experience up on the screen. Still 2 levels behind where you need to be. Looks like betastrep's probably going to take the top race. Not guaranteed yet, of course, but there's a high possibility. Same with the bottom race. Diabeetus at level 17 now. jjschmidt just getting his Staff of Rain in, still at level 14. Good chance Diabeetus is going to win, but it's definitely not over.
No, and we're seeing it right now. The red dragons with sleep are causing betastrep some problems. He had to throw out a heal more, and then he got put to sleep again, failing to run. And this could potentially be the end. He can't risk another heal more, I don't think, but he's going to try it. And the red dragon is going to proceed to put him to sleep anyway. And so a few turns of staying asleep could be spell doom anyway.
Yep, these red dragons are definitely going to be a problem going after Charlock.
And they are going to be what's going to keep what keeps JJ and VaeluV in this race, because the Charlock dive, or it could take multiple dives to get to this point, or to get to the point where you get to fight the Dragon Lord.
So Beta takes his death to the red dragon, and at the same time, Diabeetus is just outside Charlock and is running into the exact same problem. JJ now heading down the swamp. Looks like he's on his armored night grind. That knight's not armored.
We don't have the sword marked for JJ here on the tracker, but I think he probably has it because he was on that second continent. I imagine he was exploring the swamp cave before he left, and he doesn't seem to be any interested in searching out for more. So I'm not sure for sure or at all, but I would just assume with an excellent. Oh, he did an excellent move of 86 there with 75. He'd only have 75 attack power if he had the hand axe, so he has to have something better than that. So yeah, he probably has the sword now.
Critical hits can do, what is it, half to full of your attack power?
Yeah, that's right. And while Diabetes did have that unfortunate death to the Red Dragon, having even less fortune was the princess he was carrying, who has now been relegated back to the castle and will not be making this trip down to the Dragon Lord with Diabetes this time around.
So Betastrep is in Cantlin there. I'm not sure if he just topped up on, like took a rest at the inn, or topped up on herbs or fairy water. I never did see.
Yeah, the fun thing about trying to calm a quad match is you're always looking at the wrong screen at the wrong time. Because I have no clue either. I was watching Diabetes' screen at that moment to see what awaited him in Sherlock.
Both runners on the right side now on their grind, so they are a few minutes back for sure. They're both on level 14, they both have to get level 17 to pretty much go, and they'll be getting 15 here shortly. So, if they can stay on their grind, probably 4 to 5 minutes back, maybe? And saying that, with VaeluV being 6 minutes back now in the restream, maybe closer than we think.
Yeah, that's a really good point. You know, that 6 minutes of that grind can be pretty substantial. I think it's probably closer to 10 minutes than 5, because of all the refills and the fact that, you know, Armor Knights only give 172 versus if there was a Red Dragon, which would take a similar amount of time probably, but would give double the rewards, or an Armor Knight, which would take a whole lot less time for roughly similar rewards. So the Armor Knight's kind of a slow grind, but definitely being 5 minutes behind Betastrep in the on time here, VaeluV is gonna be pretty close. If Betastrep has another failed dive, it could be really tight.
Yeah, failed dive could be the difference here for sure. Beta's down to basement 4. Still getting blocked by the enemies though. Diabetes not having much luck with his Armored Knight at all. He's had to burn a heal more already. He's on the same floor, I think? No, a couple floors back.
Yeah, but he's throwing repels out there, which is, you know, he's keeping the Wizard, the Star Wyvern, and the Werewolf at bay with these repels. Betastrep, obviously, not being able to repel anything. Now, so far we haven't seen any of those monsters on the bottom floor, so I don't know if that's going to net him anything this latest repel, but we at least got away from a few monsters. Oh, no, there's Werewolf on Betastrep's screen, so at least that's one monster Diabetes is going to be able to run right past.
Yeah, Werewolf, Green Dragon, Stoneman, so the Werewolf and a Green Dragon, probably. And if nothing else, they're easy to run from anyway, so it's not too bad of a bottom floor, but there are the fun place.
And the fun thing, you know, with Red Dragons with Sleep is they are not shy about ambushing you, in which case the Sleep can just be like, nope. Betastrep, I believe, had tried one Sleep on a Red Dragon up to this point, and it landed, so he has no idea that this is a 50-50 chance. and therefore tried to land that stop spell to get away, and it did not land, and now he is in kind of dire straits.
Yep, and we find out now that all 3 spike tiles were armored knights. Beta gets away, still has a bunch of MP. This could work. So we're not going to see the Death Necklace here in this race. Not being used anyway. All the hurt points against Diabetes.
So I'll remark again that this is not free. It is, you know, we on my chart with 16 swings, you're gonna win 70% of the time. With 17 swings, you'll win 94% of the time. And with how they started the Dragonlord fight, they're probably looking at getting 15 or 16 swings, 17 swings if they're fortunate. I think Diabetes started with a little more, or with an extra swing than Betastrep did. I may be wrong about that. But at least Betastrep does have the Fairy Water. I had missed him picking that up like you mentioned earlier, so that's probably enough to cover the gap with him.
Now, Betastrep also got back attack for 49 as an opening move from the Dragonlord 2. And he went in with about 80-something HP probably, so wasn't able to get that initial attack.
In which case, it's really good that he had that Fairy Water, because it's probably going to save him 1 to 2 swings. So all I can say is I hope they're both counting, because I've had a contact malfunction over here and have missed most of the numbers that we've seen, and so I'm hoping that if things are rolling not well for them, they're counting and can throw that Desperation Hurt more asleep out there if necessary.
JJ and VaeluV pretty much dead even on experience over here, both around 9,200. So they're gonna be pretty close to the same amount of time. Unfortunately, they're not racing each other. And the 2 that they are racing are already on the final boss. Again, not saying that's a set thing yet. Diabetes has found the ball of light.
Now we will see if Betastrep has the same fortune.
Ooh. Okay, breathing fire. Can't kill him. That hit.
Oh no!
Oh no!
I wonder what he ended up rolling at, but I'm pretty confident he is very unhappy with this turn of events, to put it mildly.
Schmidt counted 154.
And meanwhile, 5 minutes ago, VaeluV reached level 16. He is actually grinding on the floor, or grinding in the grave rather than grinding on those armored knights. I wonder if he's seeking out red dragons. But yeah, for Diabetes, this was for all of our runners here, this was a particularly challenging race with what the overworld offered, and even now, like I said, that Charlotte dive is far from free, and so to pull that off this quickly, which doesn't sound like a lot, but 152 or whatever it was he finished at, but it's still really impressive feat. Very impressive the way they're able to navigate all the challenges this team popped up with.
And is that a DiabeetusThe2nd I hear?
Perhaps it is. Perhaps it is.
Well, GG Diabetes, how do you feel about that seed?
Well, I appreciate the southern twang there, for one. But no, that was an experience. I've noticed a lot of seeds like this so far this tournament. Not a lot of super jets, but a lot of kind of tricky, challenging, what do I do type of seeds. This definitely felt like one of those.
Yeah, it was a rough one. There was a lot of grinding you had to do there in the beginning. You couldn't really go anywhere for Sherlock zones.
Yeah, that was definitely part of it. I mean, the stats weren't outstanding at the start, but I think the biggest problem was really just the number of the early enemies that just had trolley abilities. I mean, Sleep Hurt isn't... I mean, depending on the enemy, it was a little deadly, but there were times where it's wasting time. Taking out a wolf at, like, level 7 with Hurt shouldn't take, like, 45 seconds.
Yeah, I think we watched every one of you for a while just basically run around and you're fighting enemies and heal, fight. It was almost like Dragon Lord 2 fights everywhere.
Yeah, there was a lot of that. And again, it's a consequence of the low attack power and Hurt. And I mean, it's one of those where it's really tough. It's like, I can consistently take out these like zone 1/2 enemies. You can take out the wolf, you can take out the warlock fairly easily at that point. Talking like level 6 through 10-ish. The problem is just the impetus is to try to fight things that are bigger, because we had the stats that you just had difficulty doing damage. We had heal. I think by that point we had heal more. We got like 60 HP. If you can find any of those mid-range enemies between like wolf and like Spectre, Droll Magi, Druin Lord, Wyvern, like Wraith Knight, we saw a couple of those. Like, those are the enemies that you're really wanting to fight, but just finding them where they aren't mixed in with either garbage or nasty stuff was not easy.
Yeah, we did notice lots of metal slimes, but, you're not going to hit them anyway. And even though there were those enemies, you were finding them amongst red dragons, armored knights, axe knights, and the like.
Yeah, exactly. And that was the challenging bit, because like there were times where it felt like, the armored knight was a great example. It's got stop spell, it's got weak fire breath. And we've got like, at least at the time where I at least took a stab at one or two, it's like, maybe if it misses stop spell a few times, I can hurt one down. And I think I did like 70 damage to one at like level 7 or 8. And then I just got unlucky and ran out of FP. So I didn't finish it off, but just looking for solutions where there just didn't seem to be any. At some point, it just felt like the first person to get keys is going to be the one who, pun intended, unlock the seed.
And more or less, that's kind of how it unfolded.
Also, welcome JJ Schmidt. Even though on the screen you can see he's still playing, he has forfeited the race.
Oh, buddy.
GG.
Hey, yeah, well, GG's to DB2 here. It was a rough one.
Thanks for the GGs, JJ. You too. Yeah, it was not super fun.
I think I I'm guessing Keys was the problem here. I didn't find Rimmeldar until the very last patch of the first continent that I searched.
Yeah, it's actually like the last thing I just said before you popped in was, it seemed at some point, it's like, it's going to be just a race to see who finds Keys first. I didn't find them quickly, but I didn't take, like, too long to find them. Now, granted, I did explore most of everything else on the first continent, but still.
Yeah, no, I just kept getting bounced. I think I had like 18. I'm on 18 deaths. And I just couldn't get down south of Cantlin at all, or to Cantlin for the longest time.
Yeah, I didn't actually even see the town across the water until way later than it should have been. I just never followed like the eastern edge of that early area. And I was like, oh, there's a town there. Well, I hope that's not Remolder, because I could have been there like a half hour ago. It wasn't.
Yeah.
I couldn't do anything, but still.
No, I saw it I think it was like the first thing I saw, and I had some gold from getting the first 3 chests. And so I got a little infatuated trying to get over there, thinking there's like a 25% chance it's Keys. And so that ate some time, and just could never get anything going. It was kind of like my first race. Nothing was given. I think I was fairly patient with getting levels early, but it just didn't matter at any point.
Yeah, we saw you several times try to go there for Cantlin, and I mean, same as everywhere else. Red Dragons, Armored Knights, Axe Knights, everything you did want to see to get there.
Yeah, it seemed like there were 4 zones, and they were all bad. Outside of the starting zones.
Yeah, I want to say like maybe good 10 plus minutes. You actually had Cantlin in your grasp before any of the other runners did, and you were either the 3rd or 4th to actually reach it, thanks to all the encounter fortune you had.
Yeah. That sounds right. Did you get any metal slimes?
I did get one after a while. It was not super early. I think it pushed me from level, 7 to 8? 8 to 9? I forget. Somewhere around there. 8 to 9, I think. But that wasn't super early. I mean, I had countered a few of them, but after I already had 20 attack, or 20 strength, so they weren't all lock, unfortunately.
Yeah. I saw a bunch. I didn't get any, but I didn't see them till, I don't know. I don't remember when.
So Beta has just taken his 3rd death to Red Dragons and Sherlock.
I'm gonna stop.
Yeah, Betastrep and Diabetes both got their keys pretty close to each other. Betastrep got them first, they were both pretty close to each other, and then JJ, both you and V over here had much less fortune trying to locate and survive all the way to Rimmeldar. And the difference here, the reason one race is still going and one race is not, is because Betastrep has gotten slept and wrecked multiple times on the basement of Sherlock, including after the mini-boss. So,
yeah, just
that's terrible.
A sign of things to come if you finish this one out, JJ. Lots of Red Dragons.
Yeah, I don't know that I'm gonna finish it out. I wanted to see what go level was, so I'm happy with that. I already quit, so I don't know that I'm gonna try it if there's a bunch of red. I might try once here. Kind of screwed up and forgot what I was doing on the way there.
Well, I can give you the spoiler of where Beta's at and what level I finished at if you want.
Sure. Take it.
Well, I went at 17. Beta's also going at 17, and there's a big strength gain at 17, but it's not like free. It's like 128 attack power with 14 heal mores. So it's like I burned to 1 on the way down and had to go down to my last swing, and I did 163 and got through. So it's not free by any means, and there's at least reds in the top and bottom zones. So, yeah.
I'll also add that Beta did 154 and didn't make it through. So somewhere in between those two numbers.
Somewhere in there.
Yeah, I think I did 153. I rolled an 8 and did 153, and I was like, welp, I would have liked a bigger number so I could be guaranteed or very likely, but I'll take what I can get. Fortunately, 163 was enough. I was not looking forward to another dive. It would be certainly a consideration to take another level. I mean, knowing what Charlock had and that I may have just gotten lucky to get down that far, yeah, that's a tough call and a heads-up race.
What is this agility? Yeah, that's definitely not trying more than one.
So on our restream here, VaeluV has had some streaming issues and is actually 5 minutes behind our restream. We've got his own timer up there. He just failed a dive in Sherlock as well to something. Got sent back. So betastrep is diving again on 17. VaeluV is 17 and going to buy fairy water, I think. We don't actually know how this one's going to turn out. It could be very close.
Sounds like it's a good time for me to bow out for a little bit and let you guys take it away for the rest of the other race.
GG to both of you. It was very fun to watch, and we missed a lot of stuff because there were so many players, but we were constantly hopping around trying to see what everyone was doing, and all of you were making good plays at some point or another.
Yeah, well, GG's. I'll see you around. Hopefully, cruise on into the brackets here before too long and give them some hell.
Alright, Beta's on the bottom floor again. VaeluV probably somewhere in Sherlock. Again, we're a few minutes behind. Right now is outside with a red dragon.
Now, VaeluV had an interesting grind decision. He decided to grind in the grave, where he was taking red dragon fights and throwing stop spells at them in order to take those red dragon fights. I would have thought with all of those that he may have gotten very fortunate with his stop spell luck, because he's throwing all these stop spells out, and I would have thought after that he would have seen that the resist was not that good. But him throwing those stop spells make me think that maybe he got fortunate in his stop spells earlier, and unfortunately has learned the sad truth that red dragons are not desiring to let you go.
So Beta has made it back down to the Dragon Lord. See what happens here.
Gets that stop spell, which is definitely something you're looking for right now, because you want every swing possible. Now, he's getting in with 14 heal mores, and with those fairy waters, this is, obviously, there's no such thing as free at this point, but this is very, very high odds. It's going to require both a back attack and some bad heal mores and or bad rolls to pull this off. Well, a 9 fairy water definitely is not the roll you're hoping to start with, though.
But the 26 attack from the Dragon Lord is much better.
It goes to 22. There's that 49 swing that's possible. It takes us up to 27. Or not 27, 37, excuse me. $47. Opting to attack at that 50. Take us to 63.
VaeluV just died on the top floor again to a red dragon.
And now I've forgotten what number I was saying now, so...
74?
Maybe 77? Something like that. We'll say 77 just because that felt good, and now that makes it 84. And now we saw that bad heal put him still in damage range, and he opts to do the double heal this time around. That's going to take us to 91. 98. These rolls are not doing him any favors. He's min-rolling a whole lot.
VaeluV back in the grave, grinding for level 18.
106. And I talked about low rolls. I mean, he's rolling 7 to 14, and he's rolled 7, 7, 8, I think, his last however much. And then there's another 8. And now talking all those 7 and 8s, I've lost my count again. But it's growing to be absurd at this point, just quite how bad these rolls are. Now, I think with those Fairy Waters, he's still okay, but it's pretty brutal. Hey, there's that 13.
Chat is saying around 149.
I think this one's gonna do it. Nope, this one's gonna do it right here. There we go.
There we go.
167, I think, is what that ended up at. So,
Ooh, 1 point off max.
everybody get out your GGs for betastrep for powering through that and finally getting it. And we'll see what happens here on VaeluV's screen for the next 5 minutes if he gets to level 18 and see what we could have had there.
Betastrep finishing with a time of 2:10:31. VaeluV fighting the golems, another 350 experience for every one.
Yeah, it's like he's gone back to Grave, which kind of was his grind spot of choice rather than going for the spike tiles. He likes the werewolves here plus the 350 red dragons and golems, even though they are carrying some unpleasant skills. They are still a very, very large boatload of experience. Plus, there are those metal slimes that he could, theoretically crit for 255 as well.
So even being behind on stream here, we'll likely see him in Sherlock by the time we get a finish time. We will let it finish on stream, of course, before we post the time. Got the lucky stop spell here on this red dragon, so I was able to just attack it down as it casts sleep.
It's going to be three more of those top whatever monsters is going to get him to the next level.
Hello, Betastrep and GG.
Thanks.
You definitely did a good job of showing what beta luck is to the crowd.
Yeah, I just couldn't think of any real strategy to use on red dragons. Like, they were clearly, at least for me, about 50-50 stop resist. And at 78 agility, the run percent is like 43. So there's not much of a difference. And there's also the issue of, do you heal more when you wake up or not? And I eventually just decided that wasn't even worth it because what happened with the first DL2 fight, rolling 154, not having that be enough, is just it was just pure awful.
So 159 and 7 out of 16 stop resist.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And so if DL2 had 159, that means if I don't get ambushed in the first fight, I win. Great.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, and then that second one that you did win in, you still tried your best not to with those rolls.
Yeah, I think I rolled 164, and my melee rolls were like a lot of 8s.
We see in chat here 7 followed by a double heal, 2 more 7s, and then 3 8s.
Yeah, don't take me to a casino.
VaeluV here now is grinding for level 18, we believe. Should get it with this enemy.
So how many dives did it take for Beatus to complete the seed?
He lost to a red dragon outside of Sharlock. He got slept and wrecked by one outside, but then when he got into Sharlock, he was able to get there at the first time. You and he were fighting the Dragon Lord at the same time. He went in with, I think, 1 more heal more and didn't get back attacked, and it took him to his last swing to finish off the Dragon Lord.
Did he also go at 17, I assume?
Yes, he went at 17 as well. And then VaeluV tried multiple times to go at 17, got killed, and then decided to grind up to 18 instead. And now he's heading back down.
Did anybody else do the Death Necklace gold grind in Cole?
Yeah, we saw JJ do the grind to get a hand axe, a full plate, and a large shield, and then Diabetes did it to get a hand axe and a large shield. You were the only one who grinded all the way up to a flame sword.
Yeah, my thought behind that was I was seeing a lot of armored knights, and I was seeing they were throwing stop spells all day, so I figured once I get the armor, I was just gonna go after them if Hurtmore came late, and sure enough, Hurtmore came late.
Not only that, but you were seeing a lot of red dragons too, so Hurtmore wasn't going to do much to them.
Yeah, it just felt like a seed where I wanted as much attack power as I could possibly get, even if it meant doing that slow grind, because you can get a flame sword in about 3 minutes of doing that grind if my math is right. So as far as I'm concerned, that is well worth it in a seed like this.
So VaeluV here is actually a bit behind on stream. I may have said that already since you came in. Hit level 18 about the same time you were winning, pretty much, according to Asmati. So really, for a little while, because he's about 5 minutes behind the stream, we didn't actually know how close this race might have been.
Yeah, you were midway down Sharlock as he was loading up on Fairy Waters, so, you know, you add that 5 minutes to his run and it could have been really, really tight, but then he got slept and wrecked, and so then it separated itself out.
Yeah, once I saw that Red Dragons had sleep and they were... I know the cap is 50%, but it felt like they had 75% sleep in my experience with them. I knew that the end of this seed, if they were in Sharlock, was just going to be a complete lottery. Like, if we all get there within 5 minutes of each other, anybody could win because multiple dives are very much on the table, no matter what your agility is when those things have sleep.
And I had missed it while we were talking, but in case you're curious, that level 18 was an extra 7 agility and an extra 19 magic points. So that's given VaeluV enough MP to, if he can get to the bottom, be in really good shape.
JJ actually, saying in chat now that he got Sherlock on first dive.
Yeah, he got Sherlock on first dive.
So VaeluV here is actually behind on stream. I may have said that already since you came in. Hit level 18 about the same time you were winning, pretty much, according to Asmati. So really, for a little while, because he's about 5 minutes behind the stream, we didn't actually know how close this race might have been.
Yeah, you were midway down Sharlock as he was loading up on Fairy Waters, so, you know, you take add that 5 minutes to his run and it could have been really, really tight, but then he got slept and wrecked, and Meanwhile, VaeluV dies to the wizard, the Dragon Lord breath-breathing wizards, unable to escape from them multiple times. It says, "Thou art dead," and took a long breath before restarting.
Did anybody gold grind a silver shield?
Diabetes did. He went to do the deep grave dive, and went ahead and he actually picked up the top 3 chests to set up that gold grinding beforehand, managed to get all 5 chests, and then did the gold grind from there. But he didn't have the flame sword at that point in time, so he only had a hand axe, so he grinded for both the flame sword and the silver shield.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, the silver shield would have nullified the wizards. Not that I was particularly concerned about them. I was completely focused on the red dragon issue, and knowing that the armored knights were pretty well neutralized, I didn't feel like a silver shield was particularly important in this seed.
VaeluV now on another dive down, still on the top floor, but slowly working the way down. Never bothered to stock him on fairy water. I'm not sure if he used any or not, but has 130 attack now anyway, so not extremely useful.
Yeah, he hasn't made it down to the Dragon Lord yet, so I don't think he would have had the opportunity to use any of it up.
Right.
Yeah, from the exploration front, you actually were off to kind of found almost everything before anybody else. You were the first one to Cole, the first one to Ribbledar, first one to Cantlin, first one to Breckenary, but that doesn't seem quite as notable. And so, by the way, we expressed our excitement for you opting to buy the bamboo pole. It's a very, very important purchase.
Very good.
Well, it's mandatory, isn't it?
It is. Absolutely. Yep. We were all cheering for you at that point. I said winners buy bamboo poles.
Was I also the first one to learn that basically every enemy in the seed had some sort of troll ability?
Hard to say, but I'm sure you found a couple of them first.
Yeah, we had Diabetes did much more of a dedicated grind, while the other 3 of you went off into the world a lot earlier, and there was so much awfulness everywhere, it's hard to pinpoint who saw what first.
JJ had several bad attempts trying to get over to Cantlin. He was the first to see that, but couldn't quite get there because, again, Armored Knights and Red Dragons. I think Diabetes had a hard time even getting up to Cole, I believe.
Yeah, that Armored Knight zone, it extended into that landmass so that, like, I'm not 100% sure if I was avoiding it by hugging the coast going west up towards Cole, but I felt like I was. But they were definitely on the eastern portion of that, so I could totally see that stopping people too.
JJ asking where everyone else mid-game grind. Most of the mid-game grind I saw was on Wyverns and probably Rogue Scorpions, but they were kind of mixed in with everything else, so it was hard to say.
Yeah, I didn't see a lot of dedicated grinding at all happening during the seed. It was just, there was not a good place to grind as far as I could tell from anybody's stream, so you just kind of took what you could get when you got it, in between getting destroyed by red things.
Well, I know I sat in the wolf zone for a while, but the rest of the zone was garbage. And I definitely took out a few Wraith Knights, but I wasn't seeing them on a high encounter tile, so I couldn't dedicate a grind to them. And Rogue Scorpions had heal more, so I gave up on those pretty early.
Right, until you got hurt more, they were kind of meh.
Yeah, this thing just basically from start to finish was just a disgusting.
I also appreciate the fact that my first attempt going through the swamp cave, the night sleep locked me of all things.
Yeah, I did notice that. You were the first one to find Swamp Cave, I believe, too.
Yeah, first one to find Swamp Cave. I think first one to find about night sleep as well.
Yeah, there was probably at least a 20 to 30 minute period of time in that seed where I was actually openly wishing for Stop Spell above everything else. Like, I didn't even care about Hurt More. I was just like, please, for the love of God, give me Stop Spell, because everything is throwing sleep at me.
Yeah, we had that discussion when y'all hit level, I think it was level 12, and got Hurt More and Stop Spell, that Stop Spell was pretty substantial in and of itself, completely ignoring Hurt More. And then
It's
you
also-
landed your first Stop Spell on the Reds, and we were like, oh man, this might be a great way to deal with this. And then, of course, Stop Spell never lands again.
Yeah, I was briefly optimistic, and then I was just like, well, I think I've seen this before, and I think I'm going to suffer for it. I was also really hoping for Repel, and that also came very late.
And VaeluV is starting his Dragon Lord 2 fight with 16 Healmores available to him, plus a full tank of Fairy Waters. So this should be a given at this point, barring a mismenu. I have not looked at the race room, so I do not know what the finish time is, but I am imagining that he has finished at this point, and we will see the results of that soon.
Seems like everyone had the Fairy Water in mind when they went down for this fight. I'm not sure if Diabetes used it or not. I would say he did use a couple.
Winning on 17 with just 2 Fairy Waters is kind of bizarre to me, but okay.
Again, both of you were in there at the same time, so we were kind of keeping an eye on both, and I think when he had started the fight, you had just died, so we were noticing that.
Yeah, he got in again with another heal more than you did, and didn't get back attacked. And so when he got in, he had basically 16 swings to work with, and you did not.
I mean, the one thing under my control that I screwed up on was I didn't use all my herbs. Not that it might not have mattered. I mean, he could have just kept attacking or throwing Hurt Mores, and with my defense, an attack and a Hurt More are pretty similar, so probably didn't make a difference, but that was something under my control, and I was just like, I don't even know if I was expecting to beat him on that swing given what my previous 2 rolls were. I think that was also playing into it a little bit.
We saw you hesitate a couple times on 49 as well. I believe Dragonlord could have hit you for 50, but you really couldn't take that chance.
Yeah, I mean, I think in the second fight, I think I swung while I was in danger once because I had already double healed, and I was just like, I can't afford to give up another swing here.
Yeah, I think you swung at 50 and then healed at 49. And everybody get your GGs out. VaeluV has defeated the Dragon Lord, found the Ball of Light, and will be finishing with a final time of 2:23:48. And I will say V has opted to not come in for an interview, simply commenting that there were so many sleep Reds. And so he just wanted to say thanks to everybody for watching.
So while we're here, I know Diabetes is still in the room, might be here anyway, and Beta is still here. So do you guys have any final thoughts about the seeds?
It was pure awful. I I kind of like the early going. I like the option of doing the slow grind for on the Death Necklace tile in coal. That was an interesting part of it, but after that, it was just pure awfulness, and the seed needs to be burned and launched into the sun. And also, thanks for all the volunteers putting in their time. Much appreciated.
Anything for you, Diabetes, if you're still here? And I guess they've stepped out. So right now, we're looking for a raid target. Probably going to send you over to RPG Limit Break, although that race is almost over as well, apparently. Either way, thank you everyone for watching, and Tilo closes it while I do the raid.
All right, I will mention that there is a 1:30 a.m. race between Ragai and Zarnax 42. I don't know if we'll have a restream for that or not, but that is still something else on the docket for the day. Outside of that, for our restreamer Asmati Games, for our trackers Marash, and Q, and for my co-commentator CyberDark86, I'm Tilo, and I hope you all had a wonderful evening, and we've got a lot more Dragon Warrior fun for you in the coming 2 weeks. Good night.